Hello, hello. My name is Leah, and I want to share a little bit about myself today and my journey to finding yoga and where this whole yoga thing started. I have been a yoga teacher for 9 years now. I got certified in 2016. I've been practicing yoga for 12, 13 years. I got certified in 2012. I'm not gonna edit this. I'm just gonna put one big video. So excuse the mess of losing my mind. I'm gonna try to stay on track, but here we are. So I'm currently living in Roatan, Honduras. It is an island off of Honduras, and the reef is beautiful here. It's surrounded by water everywhere. Um, Tropical, as you can see, very lush and green. The humidity is amazing. And I've been here 3 years. And this is where I really found my confidence as a teacher. So even though I have been a teacher for 9 years, like the last 3 years is where I've really found stability and found my voice and myself in the teaching and being able to properly share the practice and my medicine with others. My yoga journey started when I was, 16. I'm from a small mountain town in British Columbia, Canada, and I never felt like I belonged there. The winters are really dark and snowy and cold, and I am a sunshine person. I am very affected by weather. So, having 7 months of darkness plus other seasons of rain and darkness was really hard for me. I never felt like I was supposed to be there. Um, and that made me hold a lot of anger and frustration. And yeah, I just felt like I was a pretty angry teenager. Happy kid until I got into school, and that just reaffirmed that I wasn't supposed to be there. I struggled throughout school, not seeing a point, not seeing a reason, thinking it was like a waste of my time. I got bad grades. I didn't like to hand my homework in. Um, but I loved gym class and I loved the sports and after school activities and dance. So that's where I really thrived. That was my safe place in school was the gymnasium, playing a sport, moving my body, being active, not sitting in a classroom trying to read and whatever else you do there. But in 2012, I was in a car with my coach, my basketball coach, and three other students were in the back. I was in the front, and we were coming back from a basketball tournament. And it was like 7 or 8 p.m. at night. It was really dark. It was the middle of winter, and so it was really snowy. And I don't know, we hit a slippery patch, and the car just started to fishtail. And I remember my coach and I being like, oh my God, holding on to each other. And we hit the snowbank and flipped over on my side and ended up upside down in a ditch. Um, I think I got knocked out at this time. I don't really remember, honestly. I just kind of remember freaking out, hitting the ditch, and then I remember waking up upside down, but not knowing I was upside down. I was so disorientated. So I undid my seatbelt and just smack down on the ground and had to climb up the snowbank in my socks. It was freezing, there was a ton of snow, and just cried. I think I cried for like 2 hours, 3 hours straight, honestly. Like people had pulled over, we sat there. And there was a girl that was sitting behind me who also got the impact of the hit. And so her and I were taken to the hospital to check for any neck damage, spinal damage, um, and then sent home. Got whiplash, and then back problems. My lower right side started to really amp up. I'd never had back problems before, and then suddenly I was unable to go to school. I couldn't work because I couldn't stand. Sitting in a chair at school was really painful. Running hurt my body. Playing sports hurt. Everything I did would just aggravate it, and then I would leave crying, or I would go home and just lay there in pain. So yeah, I got really depressed. And I was, again, really angry. I suddenly had this safe space of exercise and sports and teamwork. And suddenly I'm at home, laying in bed. I'm depressed. I'm angry at the world. I'm taking it out on everybody close to me. I was probably very miserable to be around because I was very miserable. Um, yeah, so that lasted a while. And then one day my mom came to me and she said, "You know what? We should try yoga." And I was like, "Yoga? That's so stupid. It's so slow. I'm not going to that." And that was always my mindset, I think. Like the thought of like stretching slowly and doing weird chanting and weird music, like, ugh, no, thank you. I'm not into it. But she was like, "No, no, no, like, let's go, let's go, let's just try it." She never did it before, so we're gonna do it together. And I was like, "Fine, okay." And we go to this first class, and oh my God, I remember leaving with a quiet mind and a quiet body. I was able to move in a mindful way where I was stretching out the muscles from being laying in bed all the time or standing and being in pain. I kind of connected to the feelings a little bit more. The breath work, I that was the first time I ever was breathing intentionally. And the teacher told this beautiful story of like a monkey in the mountains doing something. I don't even remember the story, but I just remember thinking, "Holy shit, this is the best thing I've ever done. Why have I never done this before? I need to pass right now. I want to keep doing this." So I got a pass and I started to go more frequently. I was starting to make friends there. It was fun to make fun shapes with your body and kind of push the limit, but also to be soft and take time to lay and be present and breathe. Yeah, I ended up like skipping school all the time to go to yoga. I would call the school up and pretend to be my mom, saying that I was sick or something. I had an appointment. Would go there, pretend to be sick, and then just walk to the yoga studio and go hit up their class in the afternoon or the morning. And I didn't feel bad about it. I was like, schoolwork, dumb. Yoga, wow, this makes me feel great and I want to do this. So then it really helped me through my late teens in high school. Again, living in somewhere I didn't feel like I belonged, surrounded by people who were my friends, but again, I don't feel like I really connected to, and just not feeling like you're in an environment that you want to be in. So I would start hanging out with all these older yogis, and they changed my mindset so much. Like, there's so much outside of this town, there's so much out of the norm of going to school and following that path. Listen to your body and what do you want to do with your life. So I would do these Friday, Saturday night meditations instead of going to parties. I would do workshops, any workshop that would come by. There was a meditation mandala near my house that I would go to all the time. And it gave me an outlet and a light at the end of the tunnel where I was like, I just got to put my head down. I can get through this and then I can leave and I can follow my heart and see where this takes me. And I graduated high school in 2015 and then moved to Vancouver in 2016 to do my yoga teacher training. And I did it at Langara College in Vancouver. It was a 6-month program and it was focused on hatha and trauma informed teachings and movements. And it had a really big emphasis on the trauma informed, which at the time I didn't really understand. But then when we started to learn about it, my eyes were just like opening. I was like, wow, inviting people to do something instead of telling them to do something, giving them options and bringing choice back into their bodies. I don't want to tell you what to do. I don't like to be like that. But here, I invite you to try one of these three. What do you decide in your body? And for them to sit, I want to do this, and then go. That's a beautiful feeling. That's my favorite feeling in a class, even today, to watch somebody or watch a class and everybody doing something different, but so connected to themselves. I was 18, I think, when I did my yoga teacher training, and I was feisty. I was super feisty. I practiced fast vinyasa, ashtanga yoga before I did this training. So I was like, let's turn up the heat. Let's go, go, go. Like, can we throw a vinyasa in here? Um, can we go faster? Like, why are we, these are such simple poses. Why are we working on warming up my wrists? That's so stupid. I want to go into wheel. And so I fought a lot against my instructors, and they were fantastic. They had held it or handled it really well. But yeah, I was feisty and I fought for that 6 months. And that kind of drained my confidence a little bit because I was like, this doesn't make sense to me. These things aren't connecting. I'm not learning anything. I'm so dumb. And then my first practice class that I got to teach, something inside of me just lit up. And I felt like I owned that room, and I was walking around and I was confident and it was just flowing. And I was like, oh, yes, no, 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 I'm in the right place. I'm not stupid. Like, it's just this little voice in my head telling me I can't do these things or I'm not smart enough. But I'm supposed to be here. So I went through the 6 month training. It was 250 hours. And then didn't love living in Vancouver, so I ended up moving back to Revelstoke, or yeah, back to Revelstoke, my hometown. And the yoga there is very westernized. It's very, everybody is an athlete. Everybody works out. Everybody skis and hikes and does hardcore stuff. So the yoga is reflects that. And I struggled with that because again, I did a more traditional, slower training. And so that's how I knew how to teach. Um, a lot of invitation, again, not telling people what to do. And after teaching there for a while, I was out one night and some drunk girl came up to me and she said, hey, I took your class the other day. And I was like, cool. And she's like, I hated it. And I was like, oh, ouch, that hurts. And she said, you just kept telling me, like, I invite you to do this. Like, start to do this whenever you're ready. I'm ready. I showed up. I'm here. Tell me what to do. This hour, I want you to tell me what to do. And right there, like, even being 19, as she's saying this to me, like, it hurt a lot. Again, my confidence wasn't super high. But I also was taught and knew that you're not for everybody. You're not everybody's cup of tea. Someone may come to your class and have an amazing experience, and another person might come and say, I hated it. That was awful. And you need to let people choose who they want to be with and not let that drag you down. So that was kind of my mindset of it, of like half of my heart is saying, I'm a terrible teacher. What was I thinking putting myself out there like this? And the other half was, it's okay. You'll find your tribe. Everything will be okay. But I definitely didn't want to teach after that experience. Every class I went to, there would be high anxiety with it, self doubt, a lot of negative talk afterwards, beforehand. Um, but I still did it because, I was like, this is what I want to do. I need to find the confidence. And yeah, I mean, ever since then, I've traveled around the world. I was in Australia for 2 years and I did like a mentorship with Ashtanga Yoga in Melbourne. I taught at a hostel up in Cairns, and I would do 5 1-hour classes a week, and I would get free accommodation and breakfast. Perfect. I taught in Kenya to 50 girls and women who had never done it before, and was able to donate 6 months of period pads for them with Because All Children Matter, the nonprofit I was volunteering with. That was amazing. And then, Egypt, Jamaica, Curacao, just with friends one on one, like maybe there would be a group of friends, but it was a lot of self study and practice and getting on my mat and finding what's my medicine, what is drawing me to the mat, what is talking to me, and how can I find the words to share that, and how can I create that experience that I've just created now for myself. And so, yeah, doing one on one sessions with people, trying new things. Okay, how did you feel about that? How did you like that? Or even feeling it, ooh, the way I just worded that didn't make sense. Or, oh my God, I need to put that in my little brain box and say, keep, 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 keep. That's so good. So, yeah, it's been 12 years of self exploration. Confidence has definitely been the hardest thing, standing up and putting yourself in front of people. If you know me, you know my dream is to be invisible. I love the thought of being invisible. And sometimes I like to close my eyes. If I don't see you, you don't see me. And it's overcoming this like fear of eye contact and connection and being seen and perceived. It is something that's important, and I'm working on it. And the more I work on it, the more confident I am, and the more classes that I teach, the more I'm like, I found my voice, I know my voice, and I want to share. uh, and it's been beautiful. It's just, again, these last 3 years mostly here has just been beautiful to find a community that allows and is open to that, and I feel safe in. And I'm very excited to continue this journey and continue learning and to continue growing and sharing and connecting and getting over my fears. So that is how I started yoga and a little bit about my yoga story. It's ever changing. We're always moving, we're always growing, we're always discovering and listening. And I'm excited to keep going with it. Thank you so much for watching and staying along. I will be doing a little bit more of these vlogs. I've always liked the idea of a blog, but I don't really like to type, and I like to talk. I'm a yapper. So I want to yap. I want to yap. Let's talk. I want to connect. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.